I am redoing everything because my cat is distracting me. I love her very much. Okay, so for the most part here, this is going to be focusing on the art of evasion here. It's going to be some fun parts of the topic. Yes, I love you too, Lindsay. I love you very much. Oh, she's a good kitty. Um, let's break this down to a couple parts here to make things more manageable. And yes, there'll be fun clips at the end, so you could probably like fast forward through some of the stuff, skip to the end if you just want some of the more fun things. Um, physically, mentally, spiritually, yeah. Let's. This is going to be applied more towards men than women, and I will try to keep these realistic for the most part. I want to say physically things have somewhat changed just because of like we always know it's not just what you say, it's how you say it, along with what you think and do and all this, because things, when they become a lifestyle, they become ingrained in you. And honestly, that's for better or worse, depending upon what you stick to and what you learn, what you grow up like basing a lot on, you know? Like, for example, today in work, I've done something that I've done before all the time, and I've been working this site for like 2 years now, and apparently it's not a part of the rules to go around collecting these badges that are signed out, temporary badges. And I'm just like, I've always done this. Why is this literally a problem yesterday? This was normal to me. This is something that I attribute with work. So why is this a problem? Um, and it's not a part of any standard that I remember ever being taught as far as like this is a part of the job, this is what you need to do. So you could honestly be off, you could be wrong, you could be building something on your life that is scripturally wrong to the point of opening yourself up to, let's just jump to the deeper end of the pool here, to demonic activity, to where that you could have spirits in your life causing you further issues and problems. I'm not jumping to like off the deep end here. I'm just saying like watching what you are saying and doing goes a long ways. Because here's the thing, if you can avoid some of the if you can learn some of the red flags, you can avoid some of the issues and problems and save yourself a headache, heartache, depending upon who you let into your life that you attach to, which reduces your potential for baggage and scars. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for right there. You are such a little purr, aren't you? You are purring. I love her. She's a sweetheart. Very distracting though. I want to say that the work life is separate from the private life, and there's probably a lot of leeway there in the private side that you don't need to worry or stress over. But anything involving an HR department is one of those things where it's just like recognize your surrounding, where you're at, and the fact that like women will take things differently. Um, some things are just going to be beyond men's grasp and understanding, just because like we don't look at body language the same way. Words and body language are used differently for men and women. But yeah, you generally want to arrive later in life in a better place, and you want to have the ride be as smooth and least bumpy as possible. So like avoiding trauma, avoiding baggage is one of those things that you will realize as you go on through life. Like, yeah, let's not go down that road again because that hurt too much. It could be anything from marriage, where you've had multiple failed marriages, or it could be like multiple jobs, moving, having too many friends, and then getting backstabbed, and you're just like, I'm done, no more. That happened. I mean, this is realistic here. Like, people change, and you may end up losing friends that you held dear once before. Um, Everything else would probably be broken down to specific areas further as far as physically speaking, but like physically speaking, I'm just getting to the point of like, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of how you say and do things, and, you know, learning that it's okay to not be the center of attention, simply put, because you're going to have haters follow you around. I've got a couple people that love to, what's the word? Complain about me to others in management positions, and I'm just like, I have no interaction with them. I stay out of the way. I don't talk to them. I leave them alone. Like, I get angry glares. I get, like, it's unbelievable. You're going to have people following you that you don't want to follow you. So, like, negative attention will come. It's just a matter of time, really. Now, so avoiding all of that, yeah, it's okay. Just if you're a parent and you have a kid, you know this very well as far as just being okay with not being the center of attention. You would rather let your kid be the center of attention. You know, that sort of thing. Moving on, spiritually. There's a couple of Bible verses that talk about having, making covenant with your eyes about what you set before them, what you watch. There's beautiful images, and then those images where, like, you get attracted to and you start getting aroused by. Yeah, body parts come to mind, things involving bras and underwear. Ooh, yeah, okay, I know, bad joke. Oh, wait, there's the whole topless aspect, too, with, I don't know, people at the gym or whatever, showers, like anything you can think of. I'm dancing around all this stuff, I know. But the point is, you recognize it, and then you just immediately let go so you don't get stuck on it. I want to say my particular aspect on this is that the world is a very dark and very awful place, and I care about having beautiful things in my life, so to speak, things that I can like and like looking at and appreciate. So it hits a little differently for me, but I'm still like just as vulnerable as anyone else out there when it comes down to it, because if I like something and I'm not paying attention, I can inadvertently get stuck looking at it, and therefore lust becomes a problem. Ultimately, that's what I'm getting towards, as far as like, this isn't just attraction, this is like something that turns into lust, which the Bible does talk quite a bit about, like, be careful of this stuff. Since this is more of a fun video, I'm hesitating whether or not I should like throw in some Bible verses and stuff there. I'm really hesitating. The Bible just says a lot about being careful, You know what? I probably will throw in a couple verses down below. I want to say, overall, what you set your mind, your sight, and your heart upon could ultimately guide you away and further complicate your life. You want your life to go smooth, and you want to find things out at a relatively decent pace, not just get stuck on a particular section through phases of your life. Now, I want to say being single isn't really, it is a phase, but it's one of those things where there's a lot tied to culture and not just simply what you're doing or what you're failing to do. And I know some people have told me repeatedly, like, oh, you just have to wait, you have to pray, just be yourself, which is all, everyone should probably be familiar with that. It's not that helpful. Being the best version of yourself, like treating yourself like a resume, like why you should be with me, can be helpful as far as the whole, like, this is who I am, this is where I'm going. Sell yourself in that sense. Make yourself be valuable. Don't just like be crap and have nothing there. Be a man of value or a woman of value. That's the point that I'm going at as far as that. So outside of relationships, spiritually speaking, not getting stuck. Yeah, getting stuck physically is going to look a lot different than getting stuck spiritually and mentally. Being unable to progress forward, being unable to escape mentally, dark thoughts, evil thoughts, addictions, lust, strongholds of some kind, addictions, drug addiction or whatever. Chemicals, being chemically dependent sucks. So, like, being aware of what's there so you can avoid it or work upon it it's going to be really helpful. I want to say, for the most part, spiritually speaking, and I've noticed this before, I've said this before too, but I can't remember if I recorded it or not. People are generally going in one of three directions. They're going to be focusing on self, God, or on leaving behind a family, a legacy, something along the lines of that, where it's like, this is ultimately the direction that we're going in. So in that aspect, it's your choice. But you should be aware of certain factors when you make these decisions and choices. Now, since I'm focusing on avoiding, it's like, you want to keep in mind, if you are closing yourself off to pretty much anything and everything, you're closing off opportunities. So you could be accidentally avoiding something that is very much needed. Now, there are a lot of issues in our lives that God does try to remove and deal with. So trauma and tragedy can expose a lot of this. I've heard of things like where guys have gotten attacked or hurt. Like this one guy got bit by a shark attack and exposed something that would have killed him within a couple of weeks. Some cancer or something. So he ended up being saved because of a shark attack. There's other stories too where people have, like, something happen and I can't recall anything off the top of my head. I'd have to look the rest of the stuff. But basically, a tragedy was turned into something of a joy, a blessing. Something ended up saving their life, their marriage, their health. You know, people who were said to never be able to walk again. And next thing you know, they're walking because of so-and-so. I want to say that, spiritually speaking, a lot of it is tied to direction, self or God, and things that will spiritually inhibit you, get you stuck, so to speak. It's a lot easier to kick things in the corner and just walk away and without even realizing, because it's, faulty self-defense mechanisms, because, oh, you've gotten hurt in the past and this is what you did to protect yourself. That applies to me. It won't always apply to other people, for sure. So moving on here, as far as the whole mental aspect, this is tricky because this could delve into, like, survivor's guilt and other syndromes where, like, people have different attachment issues, attachment to your abuser, Stockholm syndrome, that sort of thing. Like, I could explain. I'm just going to throw out there and say it does play a part. Not just simply, oh, this is a perpetrator, this is a creep or whatever. Learn the signs, read them, and avoid them. And protect yourself too. Protecting yourself goes a long way physically and spiritually and in the mind as well. Like, protect yourself. That doesn't mean go on full assaults and be aggressive. No. Sometimes you need to put up a front and put up a wall and say, like, yeah, this is my boundaries, this is my lines. Do not cross it, or else this is going to happen. Whatever that is. Pull out a thing of mace and spray the person in the face. Self-defense. It could go that way, or it could call, like, I'm going to ruin your life and call the cops, and you are going to owe me big. Of course, you have to know how to make that work in order to successfully threaten someone who is infringing upon your life, your personal space, whatever. Stalking is a very real issue. And frankly, let's be honest here, some people are really into you and will not talk about it, and it's like an unhealthy obsession. That happens. And it can be very disturbing. I noticed one case, which is literally the exception and not the rule, where a stalker ended up saving someone's life. It was very interesting. I cannot remember where I heard about it from, though. No, they're not good to have, but like realistically, you're going to encounter a couple in your life, more likely than not. Some, hopefully none, but like that's what you're aiming for. But realistically, you're going to encounter some of these people more than you ever want to. All right, so yeah, learning to protect yourself. That's generally when you're going to dangerous areas, when you're going to areas where like you need to have some sort of backup. Hiking, security, law enforcement, even the hospitals, because of patients reacting in different ways for whatever reasons. Some of it's going to be medically related. It's going to be related to your issues. It's going to be related to like they're not entirely in control of themselves. They could be incoherent, so to speak, and something happens. As a security officer, as some other security officers have said, like they've had to put their hands on other people to go help them in and out, or to kind of like get them to stop doing certain things, to stop being a danger to other people. That's what I mean when I say that. Generally, you're not supposed to put your hands on anyone. If you do, you gotta like write papers describing what happened, the incidents, and all of this. Because it's not like everyday occurrence, it's like an incident. Hospitals are a little different because it's literally an everyday on your feet. Like, you're going to be nonstop working and being all over the place. You're not going to be sitting behind a desk and like keeping an eye on the monitors. Some jobs are going to be strictly monitoring like that. Others, you're going to be hands-on walking around. All right, outside of protecting yourself, protecting your mind, all of that, I want to say, spiritually speaking, I forgot to mention this, reading like daily devotions, prayer, reading the Bible, these are great reinforcement for what is true that you are bringing into your life on a daily basis. Words have power. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I want to say, going back to the video that I did like 2 years ago on curses, it was roughly 2 years. Ooh, hold on. This was probably like the end of 2021 that I did this video on curses. I remember sitting in that office. I was working at a dormitory. It's basically where a lot of students were at, and that was a very rough time in my life, but it wasn't, it could have been a lot worse. But anyway, I was stuck there, and something popped up, and I did this whole stringent on curses. Curses have power because words have power. And it is stated in some other areas outside of the Bible that correlates with what is in the Bible as far as angels carrying words of God, either his name or his commands, and they are authorized by God to go do certain things, whether it's to protect or to drive out demonic, I want to say activity, but demons and to cleanse areas of demonic activity. Like, we're not told to fight. We are told to either stand our ground or flee, generally speaking. Sometimes we have to pray and we have to hold fast in that sense, where prayer is our lifeline. It is our support, because the battle is not physical, it's not mental, it's spiritual. So that is like one of the very few things you cannot avoid. That's why prayer is one of those things that you do want to turn to. I think I would agree with what others have said about like pray first before anything else. I would almost agree with that. I feel like there is something out there as far as like, for your safety and well-being, get out of danger first. But yeah, prayer definitely one of the first 3 things you would ever do. Don't stop there, though. All right, that's it. Have some fun watching these upcoming clips, all right?
One one of the most intense experiences in Fear 3 is f***ing run. As part of a Fear squad, you must work with your teammates to battle through Alma's minions and Armacham forces to reach the extraction point. The most ruthless adversary, however, is the Wall of Death. Unlike enemies, nothing can stop it. The squad must work together to stay ahead and defeat the Armacham troops that stand between them and safety. If the Wall of Death consumes any team member, it's game over for everyone. Cooperative play is critical. It's no man left behind. The only way to make it out alive is stay ahead of the Wall of Death and run!
Hey team, in this video we're going to talk about and demonstrate 7 principles that you need to master when it comes to escape and evasion, specifically as it relates to camouflage and concealment. We're going to do this using some footage from the Grunt Proof games, so if you haven't already checked that out, I'm going to leave a description down below as well as a card at the end so that you can go check out this amazing event.
He was out hiking. He started to hear the deep sound of ice cracking behind him, which is when he turned around and saw that an avalanche had started far in the distance. Little did he know though, the avalanche was about to come a whole lot.
So the avalanche happened over here.
I dived down.
Into this hole. I managed to be okay. Wow.
How do you personally deal with invaders, Tarnished? Do you brandish your sword in a symphony of combat, sever the digital ties by sending your router into orbit, or perhaps opt for a complete evasion by venturing offline altogether? If you find yourself akin to the unfortunate Joes who've weary of these invaders and crave a harmonious PvE experience with your comrades, then this video might just be your beacon of hope. I'm well aware, my dear pink frosted sprinkled donuts, that we've been indulging in a plethora of videos on the theme of invasions lately, but what can I say? It's a subject we're wholeheartedly devoted to. It dawned on
Blew up your account? $137 million?
Yes, and if I don't pay up, I'll go to jail for tax evasion. I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
Read out!